All right, so here's why certain ones of you are not booking more appointments and closing on more deals. And it actually has to do with your tone that you're using during your phone calls, and this is going to blow your mind. Your tone and actually the words that you're using. Here's something as an example. Hey, how are you doing? Oh, good, great. Hey, my name's so-and-so with so-and-so company. I hope you're doing great today. Well, good. How is your weather there? Talking about useless stuff. Right after that, the purpose of my call, the reason I'm calling is this, and then that's it. What you've just done is you've just wasted your opportunity. Most of the time, you've wasted your opportunity. And here's why. It starts with the words that you used. Do you have a minute? My call is regarding this. The purpose of my call. Those are things that most every other salesperson is saying and doing. It's very, very well known. Very well known. It's very well said too by most all salespeople. So if you're saying those same exact words, what's happening is it's an auto response to block you. They're shutting down already once they hear those words, sadly. So if we see those words written down in a script, and I help people writing their scripts, their calling scripts, that is one of the biggest no-nos that you really should not be doing. And it sounds like, well, Justin, there's nothing wrong with that. But there's a lot wrong with that. And it really just has to do with you're trying to be different. You need to be very, very different. If you were calling a family member, and again, the purpose is still the same. Number one, they love you. But if you're calling a family member, you're not going to tell them, hey, the purpose of my call is this. No, dear God, they're a family member. I mean, the purpose of your call is because they love you. You love them. That's why you call him. So just jump to the purpose of the call. Be a lot more shorter and a lot more concise in your wordage, especially during that first 7 to 12 seconds, which is more of an introduction of why you're calling. Tell them why you're calling. If it was because they filled out a lead form online or submitted some information, whatever like that, then go ahead and state that. And a lot of times you don't even have to tell them which company you're with. I probably wouldn't. And again, you can kind of decide what you want to do and how you want to do it depending on whatever company you're working with. I'm not saying that that's not something that later on you need to talk about, but really right now, those very first few seconds are so very, very important. Like the first 7 to 12 seconds, just say who you are. They're probably going to forget your name either way. The name of the company does not matter, and you don't need to tell the purpose. So again, be short and concise and use very, very special wording. The other thing is the tone that you're using too. We would think that it would be nice to sound energetic and to sound happy on the phone. But during the first 7 to 12 seconds, that's not the case. You're like, what? Why would you not want to sound happy and excited? Why is I'm not saying it's not important. It's just in the first 7 to 12 seconds, you're trying to shock them. You're trying to be somebody that's different. So what you're wanting to do is actually not do it just like everybody else is doing it. So that you can get an introduction that's kind of like, wait a minute, who is this person? Do I know this person? Get past that, and then it's like, oh, okay, well, they've already given you 30 seconds. But what's going to happen is if you do those two things wrong, which is you use the wrong words and you use the wrong tone, you're going to shut them off. And it's that basic instinct because most of us are being sold hard every day. As soon as we wake up and grab our phone, that's what we're looking at. We're always looking at these sales messages. And if you're in a role like me, or you're in an executive role, you're probably getting sales calls every day. Or you're in a business owner role, you're getting sales calls all the time. We all do. So our instinct is to block those calls. Well, just think about it for 1 minute. If you're in a sales role, how do those other people sound when they're calling and trying to talk to you? Do they sound super excited? Do they sound like it's just like a scripted call? Do they sound comfortable? Do they sound like they even know it's just like it's all the same? Everybody sounds the same. And then the words, if we're really truly listening to the words, a lot of times we're not. We're just listening at a tone the very, very beginning of the phone call. But if you're listening to the words too, those words like I threw out, like, the purpose of my call, the reason I was calling, And those type of things, what's happening is they're used to hearing that. And I hate to say it's bad, but it is. It's the reason it's bad. It's so bad is because, again, it's being said so much. It's not going to give you a fighting chance to get past that. What's going to happen is they're going to go to an automatic objection just based on their natural instinct of, I got to get off this phone call because this is actually a salesperson. But they filled out a form. They requested more information. They're wanting you to help. They're needing help. But then you're like, wow, we're always so confused. Like, well, why am I not getting the appointments that I need? Why are they not wanting to talk to me? They did not wake up this morning planning on just saying, no, somebody calls me today, I'm not going to talk to them. They're willing to talk with you, but to get to that point to where they're even going to want to talk to you, you can't do it traditionally like a lot of other people are doing it, which is, again, using the same words and tones that other people are using. So just slow it down some. Try something that's different. I'm always one to be saying, hey, don't go with what's traditional. Meaning whatever you're doing, try to do something different always. I'm always testing things. Why? Because even no matter if it's a warm call that I'm calling back somebody on, or if it's a cold call, I always want to be testing my different types of copies, my different types of tones that I'm using, my different words that I'm using. I'm always wanting to learn things new. So you might know a better way of doing something than me. So we should always be trying to test things so we figure out what works and what doesn't work. But again, really start to really analyze those words that you're using, especially in those first 7 to 12 seconds, and think about the tone. Don't be like everybody else.